So now I want to take the history and go over it against the background of the chart before we get it even to the timings. Let's see it to the chart. Oops. There. Okay. So here we go. 1972. She was born in 59, 69, 13. 13, her father has a brain aneurysm burst and is in and out of a vegetative state for 17 months. And she used to go to the hospital dedicated numerous times to feed, a week to feed and visit him. Same day, my uncle was found dead in his home from a heart attack. So her dad has a brain aneurysm. Her uncle dies, and Dad was never even coherent and knew that could happen. So okay, here's a puzzle. This is a Neptunian thing. Now we're starting to see the Neptune in the fourth house, an early death, a confusion, squaring her sun. Just as she's 13 and starting to get out in the world, she has these complicated things, these sorrows of Dad. Could it happen to me? Could these things, like, she has this Neptunian factor in the fourth house that comes in. That she would be going numerous times a week. I'm going to do so. I'm going to take care of him. Feeling she needs to take care of her dad. That's the moon, Saturn, the moon up. I'm going to need to take care of my dad, even if sick. I need to be there. Needs to be fed. Needs to be taken care of. There's a need to do those things, but not necessarily. It's not something you would wish normally on a young kid to have to do this. So, second event. 1972, 73, the furnace fan falls and fills the house with smoke. Firefighters carry me out of the house to safety. So a fire in a house. There's the fire, the sun, Leo, moon, Aries. Firefighters carry her out. So she has the confusion around home, but there's a potential fire at home, and if she didn't get out, she got carried out. So that was perhaps a brush with death, but certainly a realization of fire. And yeah, that could have a long-term effect on her sense of fire. But with the fire sign, energy happens. That Saturn would come in. There's a dad. I'm going to take care of my dad. Whether she was trying to, just how she remembers, she's still only 13, 14 years old. But if they carried her out, she must have passed out or something for her to get out of the fire. 74, by 74, 14, 15, her dad passes away. So as a teenager, she's growing up without the dad. So we saw the strong influence of Saturn affecting the moon, the needs. She's probably having to take care of her dad. She's trying to do everything. But she has the sun squared in Neptune. There's the dad dying early. There's the kind of confusion or sorrow. I have to do everything, but he's not there. What can I do? I can't help. Like that Neptune can bring in we can deal with health or illness with these things. But at that age, when everybody's trying to be superficial and bubbly and go out and do things, she has this deep sorrow, deep things that are going on. Okay. In 74, 2 years later, there's a house fire. 6 months old nephew dies. Let's see what else is here. Came home from school a few minutes later, sister-in-law screams fire. Horrific, as I called the fire department, got a neighbor to try and get the baby out, and in the end saw the baby brought out by firefighters. He died 4 hours later. Still have a fear of fire. So first there's a phobia on fire, smoke in her place. Then there's a fire and someone dies. It's, again, there's she has all the fire in her nature, but she has a fear of it from the home, the Neptune in the home, squaring her sun. I'm not saying you would see that and define it as that, but it's enough to be connected to that. In 77, So 77 for 17, 18, gets pregnant. I don't exactly know if she gets pregnant, a birth control pill just as I was finishing high school. The father and I started dating 76. So she had a boyfriend 17, 18, she got pregnant, even though she was taking the birth control pill, I guess. So there's a getting pregnant. Okay, there's a strong moon factor. Oops, moon up in Aries. Now what are we going to deal with it? Go ahead with the guy, teenager, and then here's this thing comes up. Then 77 gets a birth to her daughter, and so, like we said, there was Saturn. There was it's not the easy. It's not early marriages usually, There's and her Saturn having to is where this happened. It was I don't know if I think again more the getting pregnant was affecting respect, authority, what happened. Like you see her Mars Sun, her passions are, she's romantic, she's passionate, she has the Mars, Venus, Pluto, all in Virgo. But it's so she could have to prove herself or get her experience. She's not gonna be passive about that. But then she ran into the responsibilities. She went for the freedom, she got the responsibilities of getting pregnant, having the baby. She has the baby. She is 77, she's 18. She starts working for Bell Canada. She got a job to hold it together. 4 years later, she splits up. So she probably feels alone from her dad and left. Well, she's not going to want to abandon her kids. She probably feel so. She made the dedication. They were together, bringing out the baby. But eventually, the split happened 4 years later. We'll come to the timing of this, but she's not going to let go of her kids. She's going to be the responsible one. She's not going to have guilt around it. She's going to take care of this. Takes a job. Then after a few years, she splits with the husband, with the father of the kid. And in 82, so 82, 23, she starts dating who would be her first husband. So she gets married, she has the baby, and he comes into his life father. Then, in 86, father's first daughter dies from cancer. So there's, again, the Saturn, 6th house. Father died of an illness. The father of the kid, of the daughter, died of an illness. 87, she has another child. And by 90, she splits up from her husband. So still having the kids, who's being responsible, who's not, she can do everything, but is she getting the same support or whatever? There's a puzzle here. I don't know what it is. We're just seeing it. Separates from husband, meets future husband. It's 92, buys her own home. So 92, 30, 33, she buys a home. That's not bad. She buys her own, makes her own home. The moon is, I got my home. I got my security. I'm going to work. I'm working. I can buy my home. I got my home for my kid. And the husband is the add-on. Along with, but she split up with the husband. She's dating someone, but she gets her own home. A year later, she marries the next guy. Okay. Then mom's diagnosed with cancer. Again, there's mom, cancer. And within 3 years, her mom dies. So she's had deaths, and a lot of deaths and endings. But she's taking care of her kids. Then her best friend passes away. Childhood friend passes away 2008. And in 2010, husband wants a divorce. And she goes back to her maiden name. Separation agreement. Husband still lives in the house. So she buys him out of the house. Well, she takes control. The moon, I'll buy this, my place. I'm not letting go of it. And then she got back together with him again. After they reconciled. He moves back in, and they're still happily married. Okay, decide to retire, complete the paperwork. 2014, retire. 33 years completed, Bell Canada. Okay, so she had a working career through both of her marriages, bringing up her kid, all of these things. She kept her career and kept in control of things. The sold Nuremberg house, moved to Barrie in 2016. Okay, so that's the end of her history. And she wants to know, what do you see the major events in the next number of years? Do you see me going back to work or bringing in another income? Health? Any grandchildren coming along? Okay, so she has, these are her concerns. So we saw a number of deaths put in. We saw the relationship, a couple of relationships, and didn't marry the father of the first kid. I had the first kid, so she had a complicated family situation. Like there's the Neptune Sun again, the complicated, extended family, let's call it. But she would take care of it. It wouldn't be, they're still her kids. She's going to take care of it. But the guys were not quite as stable. Although her second one backed away, came back. Smart. Okay, or I think. Okay, let's just go now. So the puzzle here, everything's fairly straightforward. It's the Neptune Sun aspect. It's the puzzling one out of all of this. Okay, it stands out, and the moon's sitting way up high. So I'm going to just pull the 8-year, make this chart a little smaller. And up to here. Bring the event, let's 8-year graph, get up to here. Okay, and I'll keep the events down on the bottom. So we're with her events. Oh no, we're going to do the Saturn cycle first. That's right. Sorry. There we go. Okay. We'll go back around this cycle again, just to look at the timings on the Saturn. So our Saturn starts in the 6th house. It's going to move up to the descendant. So her Saturn, here it is. It's the Saturn conjunct. Here's the zodiac is fixed on this graph that we said. So the ascendant could be anywhere. Here's the Saturn up high, 59. By 61, Saturn conjuncts her descendant. And then by 62, it's opposing her sun. So what do we get back in major events? We don't really have anything before 72. Okay, 61. So we go along, and 72 is Saturn's already reached the midheaven. So as a kid, she's getting out of the house. She's going to school. She's making the exception. She's being the big kid growing up. It's not until she hits 13, 12, 13, that Saturn goes, that her dad gets the aneurysm, is in the hospital for a couple of years. And this is the whole period of Saturn, of her Saturn opposition Saturn. That's puberty. That's just starting your life, but dad's not well, and her uncle's found dead, and it's building up to the Saturn and the ascendant. So you see, she lived up for her family for the first 15, 16 years of life. She's just living out in their world. And then by the time Saturn got to the opposition, or as it starts, she's not fitting into that world. That world's not so secure. Dad died, dad's sick, dad's dying. He didn't just die. He died and she's having to help and take care of, and he's still not getting better. And her uncle died. So she runs into death at 12, 13 years old.